Well, hello, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. I am the chair of CMSI. Compute Memory and Storage Initiative is a very long string to throw together, so please bear with me as I call us the CMSI. The CMSI reports into the SNIA Board of Directors. We have our own budget. We operate as an initiative, and we'll talk about what the initiative does. But within the CMSI, we have a marketing committee, and we have now 4 special interest groups, and we'll talk a little bit more about each of those later as we come up. We do support a number of TWIGs. In addition to the ones that I'll go into in depth, we do support the IO Traces Tools and Analysis, or IOTA TWIG, and NVM Programming, which no longer has a TWIG. We support the work that they did, and we have ongoing work for that. We also have informal support of the SFF TA TWIG for the SSD form factors. Next slide. So mission and accomplishment. Our mission is to foster the growth and success of the market for solid-state storage, computational storage, and persistent memory and other advanced storage technologies. And you'll see a little bit of that as we get further into this presentation of what we mean by other advanced storage technologies. Our CMSI-wide accomplishments for the year: we completed our 10th annual Persistent Memory and Computational Storage Summit. We continued our outreach and education on the technical workgroup standards and specifications that we support. We support SNIA strategic alliances in a number of groups, and we'll talk a little bit more about that also later. We had sponsorship and support of the SNIA SDC events in 2022, as well as 4 industry events that we participated in, including participating in a standards pavilion in a couple of those events. But getting down to the groups that we work with. So we have the computational storage SIG. We did a promotion of the computational storage architecture and programming model version 1.0. You would have heard a little bit more about that previously in this call, as the computational storage TWIG mentioned that. But a big shout out to that technical work group for winner of the Flash Memory Summit Best of Show Award. We supported presentations at FMS and Storage Developer Conference related to computational storage and the work of the CS-SIG. We continue research and documentation of use cases. We've added 3 presentations of use cases for the OFA workshop. We added 4 use case demonstrations at FMS and 3 at OCP Global Summit, and those same 3 at SC 2022. We added 1 new webcast on use cases related to updated specifications. So we're very active in trying to promote and show use cases of computational storage to the industry. We had 21 presentations on computational storage at the PMCS Summit. All of those have been added to the SNIA Education Library, and we had sponsorship of 4 sessions at FMS. In the persistent memory arena, we continue our education and outreach of the NVM programming model. We continue support of the PM workshop and hackathon program. We had 11 persistent memory presentations at the PMCS Summit. Those, again, have been added to the SNIA Educational Library. We did preparatory work for the launch of SDXI version 1.0. We will continue that, as you'll see in the next slides, into next year. We had demos and sponsorship at of persistent memory at FMS. In the solid-state drive SIG, we continue outreach and education on the solid-state storage specification, which is a test specification, and on EDSFF. We have published the TCO, the total cost of ownership model for storage video, and a white paper, and have outreach on the TCO website. We've updated the NVMe SSD classification materials. This is an attempt to help those in the industry understand all the nomenclature that goes along with SSD classification. And as you get to the next bullet, the SSD form factors. So trying to be a resource to the industry on education about SSD nomenclature. We've done 3 webcasts on SSD topics, and we've had briefings to industry analysts on a number of topics. We also did demos and sponsorships of the SSD sessions at FMS. Next slide. So what are we planning to do in the next year? Well, we've got so much work, it's on 2 slides. Initiative-wide, we are planning to be involved in 6 industry events over this next year. A new one that's coming up in the very near future is called MEMCON. It will be in the Bay Area. It is a face-to-face event, but will be in the OFA virtual workshop, Pearl, FMS, OCP Global Summit, and SC23. So we're planning to be involved in outreach at each of those events. We intend to continue support of SNIA SDC events, both India and US. We will be doing a persistent memory computational storage summit, and you'll see a future slide on that, and renaming and rebranding of that a little bit. Our goal is to do 1 blog per month on our site to include Q&As for webcasts, education on technology topics. Computational storage SIG, continued support of the computational storage activities, and that will include the releases of new publications, end user evangelization of computational storage use cases, continued research and documentation of those use cases. Our goal is to do 3 webcasts and 4 educational videos over this year. Persistent memory SIG, continued research and documentation of PM use cases. And one of the key things this year is to expand the PM programming videos and hackathon events, including updating some of the information on the hackathons, and then evangelization and outreach on SNIA SDXI Twig specifications. Solid-state storage drive SIG, we intend to support education of new memory types, and I think that's one of the key things that you'll see as our focus is we are looking at what is the new memory types that are coming out that are part of the memory part of CMSI. Expansion of support on EDSF deployment and use cases, continued work on the TCO, and we're looking at whether or not TCO may also apply and be able to be modeled around computational storage as well. Develop Ethernet drive work web pages, and support of SNIA Twig work and the SFFTA Twig work and solid-state storage Twig. New for 2023 is the DPU SIG, and they will be meeting next week at our face-to-face meeting, and they will be defining their objectives and launch their work. Next slide. So the twigs that we support the computational storage twig, and we do specification promotion, outreach, user input, use cases is a big area there. SDXI Twig, we support their specification, promotion, and outreach, user input. We'll be trying to evangelize that in the industry. Solid state storage Twig, we will be promoting their specification. They do have a specification that will be coming out this year that we will want to be promoting, and user input on that. External groups, we work for the marketing side of alliances with a number of groups trying to make certain that SNIA marketing and the marketing of those other groups are aligned and that we can support each other in those areas. So we work with the CXL consortium on their marketing. We work with NVM Express, support and outreach on joint marketing and technical alliance activities as well. OFA, again, joint marketing and technical alliance activities. SCSI Trade Association, we, again, have outreach with them on joint marketing. JEDEC, we work with them on the NVDIMP specification support and automotive SSD standard support. And then new alliance work that we're doing is UCIe, or the Universal Chiplet Interconnect Express. Again, support of an outreach on joint marketing. Next slide. So, upcoming events, Compute, Memory, and Storage Summit. Save the date. It is a virtual summit, April 11th to 12th. It is now renamed from the PMCS Summit to Compute, Memory, and Storage Summit, which goes along with the name of our initiative, which is the Compute, Memory, Storage Initiative. It will be 2 half days of live keynotes and panel sessions, and then we'll have pre-recorded breakout sessions released concurrently with the event. There will be virtual demonstration opportunities, so look for stuff coming in your email soon about that. Topics. You'll note the first one is kind of a change, where we used to be focused on persistent memory. We've got future memory trends. So be looking for what's going on in the future of memory. Computational storage, still a very big part of this. Another new area that we kind of got a little bit into last year, we'll get more into, is computational memory. As memory products become more prevalent, how can we move compute into the memory? CXL connectivity and impact on memory and computational storage. Compute, memory, and storage use cases and applications. As always, we will have market and analyst updates, developer-friendly programming frameworks, and finally, we'll talk about the latest of the SNIA technical work in CMSI's areas. So look for the call for presentations and sponsorship informations. Those will be coming very soon. Our membership, we have a large number of members. We have 34 member companies and 6 individual members for a total of 40 members of CMSI. You will note on this chart, you have asterisks. Those indicate the strategic membership voting members. We have 14 voting members. We have the remainder that are either strategic members non-voting or are individual members. So we do have a good membership, but we're always interested in more participation. So if any of what I've talked about sounds interesting to you, please come join us. Next slide. Who to contact at CMSI. So I am the chair. Leah Shobe is vice chair. Willie Nelson is our treasurer. But then we have our various committees. We have the marketing committee. David McIntyre and Willie Nelson are co-chairs of that. The CMSI Computational Storage SIG, we have David McIntyre as the chair of that. The Persistent Memory SIG, we have Arthur Sainio and Raghu Kulkarni as co-chairs of that. And then we have the solid state storage drive SIG with Cameron Brett and John Michael Hands. So feel free to reach out to any of those. The one that's not listed here yet is the DPU SIG. As I mentioned, that has their kickoff meeting next week at the face-to-face. If you want more information on that, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to get you additional information on that. Next slide. So finally, a call to participate. Our expected industry impact is we plan to do a large amount of educational work in the industry and evangelism in the industry. So if you have an interest in computational storage, if you have an interest in memory technologies, if you have an interest in solid state storage, come help us inform and educate the industry in those areas. We've talked about our industry segments. Engage and educate the industry on these segments that we work with. Also help to accelerate standards and standard adoptions and propel technology adoptions. Feel free to contact me. We have our website and we have a fact sheet out there. Thank you very much.